Have you ever felt unsure about how to support a friend or family member struggling with their mental health? You're not alone. In today's video, we're diving into practical tips and essential do's and don'ts that will empower you to have those crucial conversations with compassion and confidence. Hello there, and welcome back to UnstressME, your channel for mental health and stress management. If you caught our previous video on recognizing the signs of mental health struggles, you know how important it is to be aware of what our loved ones might be going through. Today, we're taking it a step further. In this part 2, we'll explore how to effectively support friends, colleagues, and family members who may be facing mental health challenges. We'll cover practical strategies for approaching these sensitive topics, share key phrases to use and avoid, and provide insights on how to create a safe space for open dialogue. Remember, your support can make a world of difference. So, let's get started on how to be there for those who need it most. And stick around till the end, because I'll be sharing some expert tips that can make a real difference. If you really want to help someone, then this 15 minutes will be worth for you investing. And for those who don't know me yet, my name is Annie. I'm a psychologist, and once upon a time, a corporate professional navigating the high-pressure world of business with tight deadlines and the constant demand to perform. After wrestling with my own mental health challenges for several years, I decided to specialize in stress management and resilience. Now, I'm on a mission to help others navigate their tough times, just as I learned to navigate mine. Let's get started! Now we came to the heart of our video. I'm going to share practical, effective ways to support your loved ones, doubling down on strategies that truly work. 1. Understand their perspective. People struggling with mental health often feel alone, ashamed, or unworthy. A statement like, "You're not alone and I'm here with you," can make them feel seen and supported. In contrast, saying something like, "I don't see why you feel this way," can feel dismissive and invalidating. Understanding their perspective is essential because it helps bridge the gap between isolation and connection, allowing them to feel understood. To effectively convey understanding, acknowledge their feelings with statements like, "It must be really hard feeling this way." Make an effort to avoid judgment. Their feelings are valid, even if you don't fully understand them. Educate yourself about their condition to help you grasp their experience better. Approach them with an open mind, accepting their perspective without trying to change it. It's essential to avoid certain responses that could harm their trust. Avoid invalidating their experiences by saying things like, "You're overreacting," and resist the urge to compare their struggles by saying, "At least you don't have it as bad as others." Refrain from making assumptions about their feelings. Instead, let them articulate their emotions. Finally, avoid blaming them or suggesting they're at fault for their struggles. 1. Approach with empathy and compassion. Empathy is about connecting with someone's feelings and showing genuine care. Empathy creates a safe space for them to open up. It shows you're not judging them. For example, a good approach will be, "I care about you, and I'm here if you want to talk." But a bad approach will be to say, "You're overreacting again." Here are some tips. Use a gentle tone. Your voice can convey compassion. Maintain an open posture and eye contact. If your body is saying, "I want to get out of here," you are not going to succeed. Show genuine interest. Ask about their well-being sincerely, not the casual, "How are you doing?" Use affirming language. Phrases like, "I'm glad you told me," can encourage them. And the final one, be patient. Allow them to express themselves at their own pace. Avoid minimizing their feelings. Saying things like, "It's not a big deal," can shut them down. Remember, you are not there to judge, but to be there. Don't use comparisons like "others have it worse." This is not helpful and make them feel guilt and misunderstood. Avoid being dismissive, saying, "You're just being sensitive." This conversation is not about you or your opinion. Also, don't show frustration. Don't let impatience show if they're slow to open up. 2. Use open-ended questions. Open-ended questions encourage dialogue and allow them to express themselves freely. An example of a good question will be, "What's been going on lately?" instead of, "You are not depressed, aren't you?" It avoids putting labels on their experience and gives them control over what they share. Here are some practical tips. Start with how or what. These words invite more detailed responses. I will keep saying that because it is of a great importance. Be patient. Silence can be okay. Give them time to respond. Follow their lead. Let the conversation flow naturally based on their responses. You are not chasing an achievement. You don't need to analyze or propose anything. Another tip: show curiosity without intrusion. Like, how have you been feeling about everything recently? Avoid leading questions. Don't push them toward a specific answer. Also, avoid asking yes or no questions. They can end the conversation quickly. Do not interrupt. Allow them to complete their thoughts without interjecting. But in each case, respect their boundaries and comfort level and don't dig too deeply too soon. 3. Listen actively. Active listening is more than hearing words. It's about understanding the message. The sad thing today is that the majority of us don't listen to understand, but listen to answer. To listen actively shows that you're fully present and that their feelings are important. You can give verbal affirmations like "I see" or "go on." But most powerful is if you actually try to understand the person and make a short summary of what you heard and ask, "Did I understand correctly?" This will help also you to clear your own filter of how you perceive the situation and truly understand what the other person thinks. Some practical tips. Reflect back. It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed. Summarize their points. So, you're feeling so stressed about work that it's affecting your sleep. Avoid distractions or multitasking. Put away your phone and focus entirely on them. Don't engage in other activities while they're speaking. Let them finish their thoughts. Avoid judgmental responses. Don't criticize or blame. Also, do not assume you know how they feel. Let them articulate their own emotions. And another important thing to avoid: offering immediate solutions. Sometimes they just need to vent. If you are a chronic fixer and always know a solution for every problem, this might be the hardest part for you. The person probably knows yourself good enough to know you, so feel free to apologize if you acknowledge you start giving advices and say, "I am sorry, I drifted again in my own fixing mindset. Didn't want to interrupt." 4. Validate their feelings. Validation is acknowledging their emotions without judgment. It confirms that their feelings are real and important. A good validation statement will be, "That sounds really tough. I'm sorry you're going through this." And clearly, a bad one will be, "No, there is absolute no reason to feel this." Be mindful of their vulnerability and recognize that they may be feeling especially sensitive or fragile. Here are some tips. Express understanding with statements like, "I can totally see why you feel that way," or "I didn't know that you feel this way." Normalize their experience. "I believe most people would feel that way in your situation." Acknowledge their courage. It takes strength to deal with all these. And use empathetic language. It must be really hard dealing with all this. Avoid using the "but." You know the phrase that everything that came before the "but" is a "but." Accordingly, a statement like, "I understand, but," can negate what you've just said. Avoid also using dismissive language like "cheer up" or "it's not that bad," or even "there is nothing to be afraid of." Also, avoid cliches like "everything happens for a reason," or "it will only make you stronger." This might give you so much negative points that the person closes all honest conversations with you. Last but not least, avoid comparing their experience to others like, "At least you're not dealing with." And then speak about a super heavy case like fighting the White Walkers in the north or having to cook meth to pay your medical bills. 5. Avoid giving unsolicited advice. While it's natural to want to help fix things, unsolicited advice can feel dismissive. It respects their autonomy and acknowledges that solutions aren't always simple. A good response will be, "I'm here to support you in whatever way you need," versus, "You just need to exercise more." Here are some practical tips. Ask before advising, "Would you like to hear some ideas?" Or, "I have an idea what could help. Do you want to hear it?" And don't act offended if they say no. Focus on support. What can I do to help? Offer empathy over solutions. Sometimes listening is more valuable than fixing. Encourage self-efficacy. What do you feel might help you in this situation? Avoid oversimplifying like, mental health isn't usually fixed by one change. Be aware that what worked for you may not work for them. Avoid pushing them to act immediately because this will stress them even more. Also, avoid dismissing their efforts like, what? Only one try and you give up. Offer practical support. Actions often speak louder than words. Be aware that what might be obvious for you is not obvious to them. People who are overwhelmed, burned out, or depressed tend to feel hopeless and have trouble simplifying things and prioritize efficiently. Offering tangible help can alleviate their burden. Use offers like, "Can I bring over dinner?" Or, "Let me take over errands and cooking this week?" Or, "Let's go for a 15 minutes mental health walk in the coffee break." Sometimes a good start is to take something to write and help them just doing a mind map and speaking about the burdens and giant tasks that they have in their mind. This method helps them visualize better, but also gives a great feeling of things are about to get better. Be aware that specific offers are easier to accept and can provide immediate relief. In contrast to it, a very bad offer will be, "Let me know if you need anything." You need to be aware that asking for help is not an accessible or easy option for everyone, and there are many cultural, gender, and socioeconomic factors that influence this. If a high achiever who is used to do everything by themselves has a mental health struggle, asking by themselves for help is unrealistic in the first phase. Ask what do they think it can help them, and don't assume what they need. Encourage professional help. Encouraging professional support can be a crucial step, but it's essential to approach the topic with sensitivity. A gentle suggestion like, "That's tough to deal with alone. Have you thought about talking to a counselor? I'd be happy to help you find someone," can be supportive. On the other hand, saying, "You need therapy," can feel like an unwelcome directive and may increase their resistance. If they seem hesitant, offer assistance by saying, "I can go with you if you'd like." You might also provide specific resources like, "There's a support group that meets weekly. It might be helpful." Above all, be encouraging and positive by affirming that seeking help is a constructive step forward. As a lot of people have their negative association when they hear therapy, or probably it is not affordable for everybody, think of other potential courses that might help. Body-mind-based stress reduction, yoga, qigong. All of these could be helpful as a first step in the right direction. Don't limit your own mind to therapy being the only one solution. Respect the tempo and own opinion of the person and help them explore paths that can be beneficial for them. Therapy only works if done by choice. Know your limits and abilities. Supporting someone doesn't mean you have to handle everything on your own, especially if you feel unprepared or uncomfortable. Recognizing your own limitations ensures that the person receives the best possible support. It's important to connect them with someone who can help if you're not able to. If you're not good with such conversations, think of someone who can help. Identify a mutual friend, family member, or colleague who has a closer relationship or better skills in handling sensitive topics. Facilitate the connection. Gently suggest that they might feel more comfortable speaking with that person. As a team leader or manager, it is important to recognize your role. Understand that while you're responsible for your team's well-being, you don't have to solve everything personally. Consult with HR, an employee assistance program, or mental health professionals within your organization. Maintain professionalism. Approach the situation with care, respecting their privacy and dignity. Seek guidance and educate yourself. Consider training or resources on mental health first aid or supportive communication. If unsure, seek advice from mental health experts on how to proceed. Don't expect quick fixes. Be prepared for ups and downs. Remember, it's okay to recognize when something is beyond your ability to handle alone. By connecting the person with the right support and being thoughtful in your approach, you contribute significantly to their well-being without overstepping your own limits. I challenge each of you to reach out to someone you care about. Use the tools we've discussed today. Your support can be the catalyst for their healing journey. Remember, supporting someone with mental health struggles isn't about having all the right answers. It's about being there, listening, and showing you care. Sometimes all they need to hear is the perspective of someone else to tell them, "You seem to give too much, my dear. I know you." and I know you need help. Thank you for joining us today as we explored how to support friends, colleagues, and family members struggling with mental health. Remember, the key to being a supportive ally is to approach these conversations with empathy, patience, and understanding. By using the practical tips and do's and don'ts we discussed, you can create a safe space for your loved ones to share their feelings and experiences. I invite each of you to make well-being your superpower. Imagine a world where mental health is prioritized, where individuals thrive, and organizations flourish because they've embraced the full potential of their people. No matter what your mental health looks like, you are not alone.